Hi, everyone. I am back with another question and reflection. A common question that we get asked as yoga teachers, and we might ask ourselves as students: when is the best time to do my yoga practice? And the short answer is when you know that you will actually practice. So you can stop the video right here and move on. Or I have some additional thoughts and considerations for you as well. But in summary, the time to practice is when you know you'll practice. Now, there are some times that may be better for you and some considerations that you might think about. So, one of those additional considerations is time of day, of course. In the morning or in the evening or sometime midday. When do you have time when you feel uninterrupted or you might be undisturbed in your practice and you're able to focus on your practice? And so that could be if you have children, for example, young children, that could be when they're napping. Otherwise, maybe you need a nap yourself, which is part of yoga relaxation. Or again, if you have work hours, shift hours that are, during the day and that, then you'll want to put your practice earlier if you're a morning person or later if you're not. So consider morning, afternoon, evening, that time of day when you'll have some time to dedicate and be undisturbed, whether you're doing a physical practice or a meditation, a relaxation, a study of sorts, of any sort, breath work. It doesn't need to be lengthy, and I'll talk about that more in a little bit. Just having 5 minutes is enough. But when you can have some dedicated time for you. Now, if you're doing a morning practice and you need to, wake up and get energized, that's a great time, according to yoga philosophy, to kind of do an energizing practice or a practice to kind of get the system going mentally and physically. You would want to avoid those kind of energizing, really powerful practices in the evening because they can be overstimulating and you might not be able to get into that rest mode in your evening. So just be aware of that. An evening time practice might be, a restorative practice or a yin practice to kind of wind the nervous system down. And so those kind of yoga style or type of practice considerations are important when you're talking about doing a morning practice or an evening practice. So consider the time of day, before or after work. That transition time between work and home is often a nice time as well. I know I'll do my physical practice in the morning, kind of an energizing practice, and then in that time between transitioning from work to home, I may do a relaxation practice or a meditation so that I can kind of wind down and get into family and home time. So that's another consideration when you're dealing with work schedules and that. A consideration is, do I eat or drink before my practice? And so traditionally, it's recommended that you avoid eating a big meal at least 2 hours before your practice. A snack, of course, is fine. And yet, especially if you're doing quite physical practice or, deep breath work practice, you want to avoid a big meal so you're not just feeling yucky, and your blood sugar is fairly level. Same with, gulping a lot of water before practice, not necessarily a great idea. So be aware of your meal times and kind of your energy needs before a physical practice or a meditation practice. Just be aware that you're not going into a practice on a full stomach or, rich, heavy foods and that. And then maybe after your practice, you're waiting, a few minutes before you have a big meal or start to gulp down your drink or whatever. And so talking about time of day, talking about eating and drinking. And then, as I mentioned before, when is a time where you can set aside to have for you, or if you're practicing in community, for that community or that sangha to practice together, where you'll be fairly undisturbed and you can really focus on your practice. So can you put the phone down? Can you turn off the notifications? Can you turn off social media? Let people know, put a sign on your door, hey, even again, if it's just 2 minutes of practice or whether it's an hour-long practice, that, hey, this is my time for me so I can recenter myself. and so I can be a better person in the world, which is what yoga is about. We learn more about ourselves, we strengthen our systems mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that we can go out and do our work effectively in the world. So make sure you have that time, whatever time it is of day, that time is actually set aside for you. And finally, I'll mention that this adage or statement that no effort in yoga is wasted. And so the length of time we are not so concerned about, right? If we have 3 hours, if we have 10 days to do a retreat or whatever, that's wonderful. And yet, for most of us in this modern age, it's just not possible to be having, even an hour and a half long practice. We used to do hour and a half long classes, and that's quite an anomaly anymore. And that's okay. That statement, no effort in yoga is wasted, we want to take with us to hold our practice seriously and yet also gently. What is within our parameters to be able to do on a consistent basis, and do so with joy, right? And so it's not a drudgery, it's not another task that we need to mark off of our list and then feel guilty about if we don't get to it. Yoga is a practice that is for our benefit, for our joy, for our calm, for our presence, for our ability to be strong and confident in the world. And so don't make it another task that, oh, I should be doing yoga, right? There's no shoulding ourselves. No effort in yoga is wasted. So if you've got 2 minutes to focus on your breath throughout the day, that is your practice, and that is wonderful. And you're adding benefits for yourself and for those around you. If it's a 60-minute practice, dedicated practice, wonderful. Then put all of your effort into that and make the most of it. So that said, the time, the quantity is not so much a concern as the quality of the time. And I will say with that yoga is a practice. And so to experience the benefits of what we call yoga, we do need to practice. All right. So there is a discipline to it. There is a dedication to the practice that whether it's a physical practice, a breath practice, relaxation, or meditation, it is a discipline and it does require us to actually do it. So I'll go back to the beginning where I said, when is the best time? The short answer is when you will commit and you will do your practice so that you can experience the benefits. We don't want to waste our time in this world, right? We have a short time. We don't know how much time we have in this life. And so we want to make the most of it. And so I hope that you found some encouragement in when is the best time for you to practice is the time that you will practice, and some of these other considerations to bring into mind. And I hope to see you in person or online. I look forward to hearing what time of day is best for you. Where do you like to practice? Do you like to practice with other people or on your own? What's been working for you, and how do you keep your practice, your yoga practice, alive and healthy and moving forward on a regular basis? So I wish you happy practicing and take good care.